2, 1, go.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Monday edition of Pro Line. Jim Price is here. I'm Dave Coach. We've got games to recap from the weekend, and of course, a big game to look at tonight. And he heads a little bit on the playoffs coming up this weekend. Jim, I missed with Jacksonville. Did well with the other pro football games. Decent weekend in college basketball overall, although USC. Their late collapse hurt me last night, but not unhappy with the way things are going. Right now, I have one play up for tonight. It is an NBA play that fits a very strong system that's been a solid producer for a lot of years. If you want to get that game, you can get it right now at JimPrice.com. How about yourself?
Well, I don't have a lot going on today because I'm kind of light in the college hoops. We know we don't have anything going. I do have one play up for the championship game in college football, and I probably am going to post an NFL selection in a couple of hours. There's something I see there that I don't think is in the number yet, and I want to take advantage of it and get it out there early. So I'm on top.
I have one game I also like in the NFL that I'm going to publish. It's not later today than tomorrow at the latest.
Yeah, these numbers are out there. They're moving. There's going to be a lot of action on them because it's the only thing there is in football after tonight. So there's going to be a lot of early play on this, and the nines are available everywhere. So, but let's go over these opening numbers, Dave. You like to do that?
Sure.
Atlanta opened a 2.5-point favorite, and then there's still a lot of 2.5s out there, but we're also seeing 3s. And the interesting thing about this, the total went from 44 or 44.5 down to 41 or 41.5. That's a big adjustment. First of all, there's an adjustment to the line because if Wentz was the quarterback, it looks like Wentz would have been about a 6-point favorite in this game. That's about an 8-point line adjustment from Wentz to Foles. And the total has dipped down from 44 to 41, which is really a big total move. Now, of course, you got 3 games this week that could be affected by weather. So that's something that we have to, it's too early in the week to know exactly what the weather is going to be. But Philadelphia, New England, and Pittsburgh, all outdoor teams, they could definitely be affected. Now,
and look, one thing that we're going to have to factor in here on that, plus in the Eagles game specifically, is that, well, there's 2 things I want to mention here. One is that Atlanta got rid of it in the minds of a lot of people, observers. And I'm not sure I'm buying into this, but in the minds of a lot of observers, they got rid of the hangover that has plagued them all season with this win over the weekend. I think to some extent that's probably true. It's probably put last year behind at this point. The other is that I think the adjustment is growing each week in terms of weights and pulls. I'm not sure I've ever seen a team, and I don't think this is an exaggeration. I don't think I've ever seen a team fall completely apart because of one injury, no matter how much better one quarterback is than the other. It's impacted the entire team. You know, a lot of times teams step up when they have an injury like this, and they'll find a way to get it done. The Eagles have gone completely the opposite direction. They're actually a bad football team at this point. And so we've done something here. I don't believe this has ever happened before. They're a number 1 seed, and they're a home dog. And they're not even a home dog they're a home dog to the last seed, the 6th seed. That's never happened before.
well, you're 100% right, Dave, but I think there's some reasonable factors in this. First of all, Philadelphia's defense the last couple of weeks has fallen apart. They gave up. I mean, Eli Manning did not have a great year. But if you look at what he did to the Eagles' defense in New York a couple of weeks ago, that was pathetic. Over 400 yards passing by Eli. Eli has no running back, no offensive line, and no wide receivers. And he got over 400 yards passing against the Philadelphia defense. That's a pathetic effort. And granted, losing Wentz, who is a charismatic, energetic guy, they felt really that they were the best team in football, and I kind of think maybe they might have been with him. But apparently, for whatever the reason, the leadership quality of Foles or whatever is not there, they've lost that confidence in themselves. And maybe it's because of the injuries or the defensive play. But then when you saw Foles play in the last game that he played, it was absolutely horrible. He looked worse than anybody in the league as a backup quarterback. And that doesn't make sense because he's had some good trips. Now, I think it might be an over-adjustment. Maybe this game should only be pick'em. But when you talking about Philadelphia with Wentz would have been maybe, anywhere between 4.5 and 6 point favorite. That's a huge adjustment, and I'm not sure it's warranted. But I'll tell you one thing about Atlanta: they're a different football team than they were a year ago. Granted, most of the players are the same. Their offensive line has had its bumps and bruises. Matty Ice does not look all that sharp. But their defense has played exceptionally well. And I'm telling you, that's reflected in two things. The line is saying, with Foles, they're going to have an easier time. You've got to remember, they shut down the highest scoring team in football this year when they played the Rams. They only got 13 points on them. And they've played well defensively for a few weeks now. And Philadelphia with Foles does not look all that dynamic. The total opened in this game 44.5, and it's 41 or 41.5. So that's a big adjustment. And I think that's what we're looking at. We're looking at the combination of all those factors. And football is a combination of a lot of factors. And I think that's why you're seeing that. Now, we've got Tennessee, who came back from an 18-point deficit against Kansas City, and the Andy Reid-led Kansas City Chiefs was. I am first to vote for Kansas City getting rid of Andy. I don't think he can ever take them very far. He couldn't do it in Philly, and he can't do it in Kansas City, and et cetera. Well, that's another subject for a different day. Tennessee goes to New England. New England's 13.5 point favorite, 13 in some spots, 46.5, 47, mostly 47. That's a big number. Tennessee did it all in the second half, and they did it all running the ball. Henry was unbelievable, and Mariota, who was also unbelievable with his legs. If New England can't stop that running game, this could be a lot more competitive than people think. The question is, can they stop that running game, Dave?
Yeah, they probably can. Mariota's going to have to have a good game. And, they got some help in this game from Kansas City. Tyreek Hill was terrible. He dropped 3 passes in the game. They were all critical passes. As usual, people are blaming Alex. Alex Smith actually played well in the game for the Chiefs. I have no idea what people are looking at. He had a good game. It's not his fault that the tight end got a concussion, and that had a dramatic impact on their offense. Then Tyreek Hill dropped 3 passes in the second half. What are you going to do? That's not on a quarterback's fault. Goes right to him. And they blew the game. They had a big lead and they let it get away. That's the Chiefs. They just aren't a good playoff team.
No, Andy Reid is not a good playoff coach either, and it's reflected in their performance. I think they've lost 6 out of 7 home playoff games, or 7 in a row, or something like that. It's ridiculous. Going on to Sunday, Jacksonville scraped by Buffalo, and they won the game, didn't cover. Now they go to Pittsburgh, who they beat earlier in the year by an unbelievable score. They just blew Pittsburgh out. And I think...
that was the game. Pittsburgh threw 5 interceptions.
Yeah, he was playing for the wrong team that day. Pittsburgh opened 7-41, and it's mostly 7.5 right now. And the total is still 41. Then New Orleans.
Well,
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't care what happened to the regular season. That doesn't matter. Jacksonville is going to have to play a whole lot better than they did yesterday to have a chance in the football game.
No question.
They'll get that. If they play like they did yesterday, they'll get burned. That was one of the poorest played playoff games that I can ever recall seeing. Buffalo was horrendous, and Jacksonville wasn't much better. Leonard Fournette looks like an overrated running back. He can't break a tackle.
Well, he might have run out of gas. They used him a lot during the season, and he might be leg weary at this point. It's possible. These guys are human beings, and they did run him a lot. He's an exceptional talent, but right now he looks very average.
Boy, he should.
Pittsburgh has had a tendency over the years of, everybody knows this, playing down to their competition, and that's been a Mike Tomlin coached condition for this team. I don't know that shows up again after they got whooped the first time really bad, and Roethlisberger has to be stinging from the fact that he threw 5 interceptions in one game. But when I see the numbers on this game, I've seen 7.5s go back to 7s quite a lot this morning, and that's saying a lot of people are coming in there and grabbing that number when you consider that the total is rather low at 41, and we don't know this yet. Again, we have to check later in the week. There's potential of bad weather in a lot of these cities, and if weather comes in, then you're talking 7.5 is a big percentage of 41 points, and a lot of your math guys look at that, and they'll say, well, Jacksonville can grind out 10 to 13 points in a bad weather situation. That might be enough to cover the number. So there's a lot of people who look at things like that. There's a lot of ways to handicap a football game. Otherwise, everybody would be on the same side. The last game of the weekend is New Orleans. We saw them survive yesterday against the Carolina Panthers. Drew Brees had an exceptional day throwing the ball. He could not miss. They're going to Minnesota, who's had an unbelievable year, and Minnesota opens 3.5, 44.5, and we're looking at it's painted. Right now it's painted. It's 4. Minnesota's 4 and 45. Everybody has the same number.
Well, it's going to be a fun weekend. I know that. As some of the teams that don't belong have been eliminated, we'll get a few more eliminated as this weekend takes place. Tonight, 3 big games in college football. Alabama and Georgia. Alabama defense was sensational against Clemson. Absolutely amazing. Their offense left points off the board. Georgia was a great comeback. They had a tougher semifinal game. More travel as well. Alabama's missing a key guy on defense. Anthony Jennings is out, and he is a really good linebacker. That's something Georgia's going to try to exploit. It's tough to really read Georgia in a sense because they did a much more difficult game last week. And, let's talk. And I had Georgia in the game, so I was real happy with the result. But they got help from Oklahoma, going ultra conservative with the big lead. And also that stupid split kick at the end of the first half, which gave them a little momentum. I think it's a really tough game. And my number, for what it's worth, my number is right around 3, a fraction over 3. So on the numbers, it's not a game I would play. I did make a play on the game because it's a national championship game, but this is a tough one.
Well, the game opened 4:45.5, and it's still 4:45.5 with some 3s out there, 3.5s, excuse me. 3.5 and 4 is the line in most places right now. So it's interesting. You know, I was not impressed with Clemson's performance. I didn't feel like they threw the ball effectively. I think Georgia can throw the ball more effectively than Clemson did. The injury to Jennings is a big one. But Alabama's a deep team with good coaching. They know what they're doing. Most of the sharps that I've spoken to like the dog, but not all of the sharps. There's a difference. Yep. They're going both ways on this game. The public, of course, you know, they're always in love with Nick Saban. So I really don't know how to read that. These two teams are close enough where if you like the underdog, you can take the 4 if you want, or you can even go and take the money line for part of your bet. You're getting 165, which is a big number if they win the game straight up. So it's I don't think you're going to see 3. I don't see 3s popping anywhere, but you never know. They've got a couple hours to go yet. I have a play on.
I don't think they'll see that. If anything, I think it'll go up.
The only place I see that's higher is Bovada, and that's typically a place where all the small, what they call, not being derogatory, the square players go and play. The limits are low, and what you're seeing right there now is Bovada has Alabama 5 and 46. And that is the highest line and the highest total. So in their particular shop, which is typically a small better shop because they don't take much money on the game, the squares are on the favorite and the over, which is typical. No college basketball today, Dave, so we're going to be going. College basketball starts up again tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to that. We both love college hoops.
Most of the time. All right. Well, again, I've got one NBA game tonight. I know it's a big college football night, but the play I've got online is an NBA game, and I think it's an excellent play. So grab that one and grab some money.
Yeah, go to JimFeist.com for Dave's plays and my plays as well. And or go to Vegas Sports Masters as well. Our plays are posted there as well. So we'll talk to you again tomorrow. Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Jim.